city eyes a different site for a warm-up shelter. Why council will consider moving an existing center already open. Transit troubles, how the storm has stalled bus services in one Saskatchewan city. And Surecom settlement, what the future holds now that its lawsuit is over.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. I'm Laura Woodward. Chantel is away tonight. The city is looking to buy another building to serve Saskatoon's homeless population. As Keenan Sarikhan reports, the proposal comes just months after the city thought they had a long-term solution in place.
After years of searching for a long-term, year-round warm-up shelter for people living on the street, the city thinks it's finally found the right building.
It has been a challenge over the years to find locations. The city only really got into this in the last few years. And these types of facilities, do generate quite a bit of interest.
This building on Idlewild Drive is being proposed as a drop-in center. The city is looking to buy the building for $1.6 million and could move in as early as May to start renovating it to be open by November. The city just recently bought this building on Avenue C for the exact same purpose in the fall, but councillors concerned about concentrating social services in one area of town only approved its operations until the end of next month because the center is right next door to the Salvation Army's shelter.
The individuals that are experiencing homelessness, not having any stability in where they can access services, I can imagine that's incredibly challenging as well.
The Saskatoon Tribal Council, which runs the center, has had to move across many temporary locations the last couple of years and hopes that this new find puts an end to that.
It is frustrating, but I think now hopefully we can get to a point where we can actually build off of this new location, permanent location, and really put in some good quality infrastructure to have good outcomes and results.
Renovations like adding appropriate washrooms, showers, and laundry connections would cost an additional $350,000. And even after it's ready, Arcand says the city shouldn't rush to sell the Avenue C building.
I don't think we throw it out yet. I think we might have to utilize it for more supports and just really making sure that it's a good backup plan.
City Council will vote on the purchase next week. Keenan Sarikhan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
We're learning just how much snow fell and how strong the winds were during this week's prairie storm. According to Environment Canada, some areas of the province saw more than 50 centimeters of snow. Prince Albert had about 35 centimeters, with Saskatoon seeing 19 and the Regina area up to 20. As for the wind, Weyburn saw gusts of up to 94 kilometers an hour between Tuesday and Wednesday. Other parts of southern Saskatchewan saw wind into the 80-kilometer-an-hour range. And in Saskatoon, gusts clocked 76 kilometers an hour. And following the latest blast of snow, a reminder to drivers to clear your vehicle before hitting the road.
In Saskatchewan, we do tend to see a lot of snow. Some big snowstorms come through. So it is very important for motorists to remove snow and ice from their vehicles. And if they don't, they can face a fine.
Drivers must have a clear front, side, and rear view. Failing to properly clear snow or ice can result in a $125 fine, and having an obstructed license plate carries a $150 fine. The Saskatoon Police Service says visibility is only as good as your worst window. As for sidewalks, property owners are required to clear the walkway surrounding their home within 48 hours of a snowfall. The city investigates complaints, and repeat violations could result in a ticket or costs added to your property tax bill. Public transit users in Prince Albert have been forced to adjust after a heavy snowfall led to the closure of several bus routes. Jasmine Pelche has that story.
This week's blizzard left Prince Albert blanketed in more than a foot of snow and left transit users with limited options. Wednesday afternoon, the city announced it was shutting down bus operations. On Thursday, the city announced the West Hill, East Flat, all day and rush hour routes were operating with reduced stops.
We've had to make a decision about, safety for our riders, safety for our drivers, and, some of the streets just aren't clear or safe enough right now for our buses to go through.
The West Flat, East Hill, and Core Express routes were not in operation Thursday. In a news release, Director of Public Works Jeff De Silva said the roadways crew has been working long hours to keep up with the heavy snowfall, needing to return to emergency routes that had already cleared. They worked 16 hours yesterday and started again early this morning, and that the crew will be working as many hours as safely possible to keep traffic moving. Transit routes are cleared once all emergency routes are operational, and snow removal is ongoing.
We're hoping by Monday that things should be operating as normal. Another thing I want to add is we have a contractor that cleans out the bus stops. We've been in contact with them, so they're also working to clear out the bus stops as we speak as well.
Parking on designated snow routes is prohibited, and the city's snow route parking ban has been extended until 4 p.m. Saturday. Transit users can track active transit routes and snow clearing operations through the city website. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
All right, Jeff, so we're cleaning up the snow and we're feeling the cold.
Yes, we are really feeling the cold. Now, not as many extreme cold warnings in effect right now as there were 24 hours ago, but still, there's still very cold conditions across the province. Excuse me, Laura. And as we make our way into the next 24 hours, things are staying cold slightly, ever so slightly moderating as we make our way into the weekend. But there's warm weather on the way, and we'll talk about that later on.
Thanks, Jeff. A bail hearing for a Saskatoon man with a history of spying on women has been rescheduled. 37-year-old Kyle Hamluck was previously convicted on 70 incidents of voyeurism, indecent acts, and trespassing at night. Just hours after being released from jail, he was arrested for allegedly breaching his conditions using a cell phone with a camera. Hamluck will remain behind bars at the Saskatoon Correctional Centre until his bail hearing scheduled for Tuesday. An Alberta man is facing charges after a semi was stolen northwest of Saskatoon during this week's storm. RCMP say yesterday morning officers tried to pull over a stolen semi driving on its rims approaching North Battleford on Highway 16. The driver would not stop and sped further down the road. Additional officers were called in to make sure it was not traveling near the public. Police deployed stop sticks twice before the truck came to a stop. A 38-year-old man from Camrose is facing several charges. The Supreme Court of Canada says it will not hear an appeal in the case of a Saskatchewan man with ties to a Canadian nationalist political party. In February of 2024, Travis Patron was convicted in Saskatoon of criminal harassment and failing to comply with a probation order. The offenses happened at a shopping mall where Patron confronted an off-duty police officer about his relationship with his partner, commenting on their different ancestries. He appealed his conviction, alleging failure of disclosure led to an unfair trial, but it was dismissed in Saskatchewan. He appealed to the Supreme Court of Canada, but the country's highest court has declined to hear the case. Prince Albert police have arrested one man and seized a significant amount of drugs following an investigation that began last month. Cocaine, meth, and MDMA, along with more than $12,000 in cash and other drug trafficking equipment, were seized during a search of a basement suite on 7th Street East. A 33-year-old man, Liban Elmi, has been charged. He made his first court appearance on Tuesday. The provincial government has settled a major lawsuit launched by Surecom Industries over loss of a tire recycling contract, but the NDP opposition says there are other problems ahead. It points to growing stockpile of scrap tires near Saskatoon that the opposition says can be on satellite images. Wayne Mantika has that story.
Saskatchewan's scrap tire recycling program has been plagued with problems in recent years after Saskatoon's Surecom Industries lost the recycling contract. It was awarded to recyclers from the U.S. and Eastern Canada. Now the NDP say scrap tires are piling up near Clavette.
So high that we can once again see them from space.
Earlier this week, the province agreed to pay $4.8 million to settle a lawsuit with Surecom Industries after the former recycler launched a lawsuit alleging unfair exclusion from contract bidding. In a written statement, the province said it was not admitting liability, but the province believes that resolving this matter at this stage provides greater certainty and stability for the scrap tire recycling industry and benefits Saskatchewan residents. Surecom says it's relieved matters have come to an end and that it is prepared to move forward. The company now focuses on manufacturing.
We make a multitude of products, from parking curbs to curb ramps, rubber paving, and currently we are employing just shy of 100 people.
The NDP says the government is to blame for what happened to Surecom's recycling division.
It's another example of the Sask party killing jobs. They've basically paid $5 million to kill 100 Saskatchewan jobs at a local company out of Saskatoon, and tire recycling for the province is still a mess.
Surecom couldn't comment yet on how the company might grow its operations in Saskatchewan. It's an industry that relies on several factors, including an adequate supply of raw materials. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
A Saskatchewan woman whose privacy was breached by a Regina police officer says more needs to be done to prevent similar incidents. The woman, who CTV News has agreed to not identify, was one of 6 people whose personal information was accessed by Regina Police Constable Clinton Duquette over a 3-year period. She was in a relationship with Duquette and worked for the Regina Police Service during much of that time. She says her sibling and a former partner were also among those affected. Duquette was the subject of a report released in December by Saskatchewan's Information and Privacy Commissioner. Regina Police say they have adopted or are working to implement 8 of the 9 recommendations earlier this month. The police chief said Duquette's access to the police database would not be revoked.
Disagree with this recommendation on the basis that permanent revocation of access to eyes would effectively prevent an employee from performing their core duties, and that would amount to dismissal. The decision on discipline on that case has already been made and cannot be revisited.
That was Chief Laura Lee Davis speaking after another former member of the Regina Police Service was sentenced on charges stemming from a separate breach. Regina Police have since declined an interview with CTV News on Duquette's case and calls for change. A new uranium mining project in northern Saskatchewan has the final go-ahead from federal regulators. Denison Mines has received approval from the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission to prepare the site and build the mine, following a hearing in Saskatoon in December. The company says the Wheeler River Uranium project will be the first mine of its kind in Canada, using a special technique to extract uranium using a water-based solution pumped through wells. Canadian Muslims are marking the start of Ramadan today, a month of prayer, fasting, and focusing on community. Damien Smith has that story.
Muslims in Regina are gathering for Dahur on the first few days of Ramadan.
So, as you may know, Islam is made up of 5 pillars. We pray before sunrise, just after the sun has reached its highest point, before sunset, after sunset, and at night.
For around 12 hours of the day, they are not supposed to eat or drink, and changes have to be made to their everyday lifestyle to teach discipline and empathy.
During this month of Ramadan, we must ensure that we have something that is known as suhoor or sehri in the morning, which is it's basically breakfast before the time for Fajr sets in.
As daylight lasts a little longer each day, Muslims get used to the schedule as they believe it will bring more spiritual growth.
And I slowly wing it off, getting ready for Ramadan, because to go from eating 2-3 times a day to eating barely nothing, it hits you.
As the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, the month reflects on prayers and focusing on community.
It's a constant reminder for you throughout the day that maybe you should watch what you do. You should watch what you say. You should watch how you treat other people.
Spiritually, it brings you more close to the Creator, close to the Allah, time and chance more to connect with the people.
The last day of Ramadan is in mid-March, which is immediately followed by the celebration of Eid al-Fitr. Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Well, it appears Canada's men's curling team has moved past its earlier double touch controversy, but the incident is still sparking conversation across the sport. Donovan Mace has that story.
Thousands of rocks are making their way down the ice at the Cali Curling Club for this year's National University and Collegiate Championships. But how many have been double touched? Have you ever double touched a rock?
Can't say that I have.
I don't want to say yes, but you gotta have a few where the finger drags.
If I did it, it's probably not helping at all. I'd probably make it drastically worse.
A lesser known rule pushing curling into the headlines earlier this week. It states any touching of the stone after delivery between the tee line and opposite hog line results in the removal of the rock from play. At the Olympics in Italy, Canadian third Mark Kennedy accused by Team Sweden of poking a stone after it was delivered. The controversy continuing after Canada's Rachel Homan and Britain's Bobby Lammy each had stones removed from play for violations.
I'm sure when you're in the zone and you're throwing like that, you don't. I mean, if I think I throw something well, I don't pay any attention to what my hand's doing. I'm sure I've grazed granite before.
Your hand comes off really gently, sometimes aggressively, so it's always possible.
2012 Scotties champion and current University of Alberta coach Jessica Admonson says most curlers aren't focused on grazing rocks after delivery.
It's not even a discussion for us. I think it could have been an accident, it could have been, I don't know, but it's not something we even think about.
Curlers agree, however. The story has been good for the sport.
Maybe it doesn't look the best for Canada, but it's bringing a ton of attention to the sport, and I think it's making people excited and interested.
That's certainly given curling a center stage position, which is kind of fun to see.
It's nice. Everyone's talking about curling, so I love seeing the memes too. I think it's hilarious. So, no, we really enjoyed it.
Donovan Mace, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, a royal arrest, why former Prince Andrew was taken into custody. Also, going for gold, the heartbreaking outcome for Canada's women's hockey team.
To end a 7-game losing streak to their rivals. Canada will still leave Milano Cortina.
You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. There were mixed emotions today for Saskatchewan sports fans. Heartbreak for Saskatoon's Emily Clark and the women's hockey team losing gold to the U.S. in overtime, while Regina's Ben Herbert and the men's curling team book their ticket into the gold medal game. Scott Hurst has the latest.
Team USA is the Olympic champion in women's hockey. It is a devastating loss for the Canadian women who are looking to end a 7-game losing streak to their rivals. Canada will still leave Milano Cortina with a silver medal. The win for the Americans puts them back on top of the podium after losing the gold medal match to Canada at the Beijing Games 4 years ago.
It's so enormous, the Olympic Games, right? Every shift, every period.
Heading into the game, fans on both sides were ready to witness another chapter in this bitter rivalry. And it was Canada who allowed their fans to believe first. No goals in the opening frame, but very early in the second period, the red and white opened the scoring, while Team USA was on the power play. 27-year-old Kristen O'Neill from Oakville, Ontario, put Canada in the lead with the short-handed goal. Only the second goal Team USA had allowed all tournament. But late in the third, with just over 2 minutes to go, the USA finally broke through. America's captain Hillary Knight with the equalizer, and it would stay tied through the end of regulation. In overtime, it was Megan Keller for the Americans with the golden goal. Despite the loss for Canada, this rivalry continues to push the women's game to new heights.
These women are great athletes. They train hard, they prepare hard, they love the game, they have a passion for it.
With Canada's latest silver, it boosts our overall medal count to 15 with more podium opportunities on Friday. However, much of the attention will be back on hockey, a semi-final versus Finland. The Canadian men will get the chance to punch their ticket to the gold medal game. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Turning now to stunning developments in the UK, where Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, has been arrested. And as Abigail Beeman reports, the arrest happened on his 66th birthday.
Police stand outside Sandringham Estate, home to former Prince Andrew, later seen leaving a police station in this vehicle. The arrest on suspicion of misconduct in public office comes after police said they were looking into allegations Mountbatten Windsor had passed on documents to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein while he was working as a trade envoy.
It truly is a seismic moment for this country, and I think for the monarchy as well.
Sir, what's your reaction to your brother's arrest?
King Charles wasn't answering questions Thursday about his little brother, but released a statement saying he learned the news with the deepest concern and the law must take its course. Mountbatten Windsor spent a decade as trade envoy. He made about a dozen visits to Canada in that period. Emails released in the Epstein files suggest he shared UK government reports in 2010. Mountbatten Windsor has always denied wrongdoing.
Whether those details that were passed on by Andrew to Epstein were all part of his job and part of his responsibilities, well, that's an open question. However, the official guidance for trade envoys was that they have a duty of confidentiality.
The family of Virginia Giuffre says the arrest is a win for Epstein victims. She died by suicide in May and in 2022 settled a lawsuit accusing the former prince of sexually abusing her as a teenager.
I think we're very hopeful that this is the start of the domino effect. This is where the house of cards starts falling.
Police released a short statement after the former prince was seen leaving the police station, saying he was released under investigation with some police searches of royal property still underway. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
With Canada's trade mission to Mexico wrapping up, attention is shifting to the review of the Canada-US-Mexico agreement. There are growing concerns the deal could be in jeopardy. CTV's Mike Lecoutre has the story.
It's about time that we are less reliant and more resilient.
Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne believes Canadians understand the reality of the situation. While President Donald Trump continues to say he could walk away from CUSMA, the New York Times is reporting 2 Canadian officials involved in trade discussions say expectations for a full renewal of the deal are very low. Still, the minister isn't ready to give up hope yet.
So we'll continue to make the point and keep telling them that we're ready at the table whenever the parties want to review CUSMA.
Now, it comes as the minister overseeing trade with the U.S. just wrapped up a trade mission to Mexico.
There's no division as between the interest of Mexico and Canada in committing ourselves to the trilateral trade agreement.
This trade expert believes threats from the White House are part of the negotiation, but Canada needs to continue making a case for CUSMA.
To members of Congress, to state governments, to U.S. business, to underscore how important this agreement is to the United States.
Now, there is a sense of urgency to end the trade war with the U.S. According to Statistics Canada, this country's trade deficit grew to $31.3 billion last year, the largest since the COVID-19 pandemic. Overall, exports are down slightly, but the Canadian economy is slowly shifting away from the U.S., with 5.8% fewer exports going south, and exports to countries excluding the U.S. rose by 17.2% in 2025.
We have what the world wants, whether it's come from critical mineral, from energy, from natural resources.
The finance minister adds while Canada wants to work with the U.S., there are other trading opportunities out there. Mike Lecoutre, CTV News, Ottawa.
Hi, I'm Doug from Wanuskewin Heritage Park, and we're inviting you to warm up at our Kona Winter Festival presented by Nutrien on Saturday, February 21st. Join us at the park for an admission by donation day filled with cultural experiences and winter activities the whole family will love. Try dog sledding, explore the snowy trails by snowshoe, watch Indigenous dancers, enjoy great food, and take in the beauty of the valley in winter. It's a perfect way to embrace the season and gather in a truly special place. You can find all the details on wanuskewin.com. So, Jeff, what's the weather going to be like?
Well, Doug, it's going to be a bit nippy, but the good news is that, you know, with the right kind of clothing, you can still get outside and embrace things. Now, it won't be as cold as it has been today or even tomorrow, but let's take a look at what we anticipate for Saturday. So Saturday, a big Kona festival out there at Wanuskewin Heritage Park. Between 11 and 4, that's when it's happening. Minus 17 degrees. So that's 10 degrees below seasonal, but we're hoping there won't be much of a wind going on that day. Mainly cloudy skies. And once again, wanuskewin.com for more information. Now let's take a look at our current current temperatures. Right now, it is minus 23 in Saskatoon, the same in Prince Albert and the Battleford. So if you bet on 23, you're a winner. All right, hey, we've got ourselves winds that are a little breezier in Saskatoon and Prince Albert than in the Battlefords, but in all three locations, any kind of wind make things feel quite cold. So let's take a look at our numbers for Saskatoon. The almanac, minus 23 happens to be our current temperature, and it is our low temperature, or high temperature for the day, rather. Typically, we should be at minus 7, so 16 degrees below seasonal. 13, the record warm temperature from 1931, minus 41, the record cold temperature from 1949. The sun came up at 8:14, and it's going to go down in 1 minute.
Still to come on CTV News, the picture's worth 1,000 words. A look at the memories captured by Paul McCartney.
Another federal conservative has crossed the floor. Friday on Your Morning, what a conservative strategist says about where the party goes from here and how it can become more cohesive.
All right, well, let's take a look at our sky cam shot here. It looks quite lovely right now. A little bit of cloud out there for the most part, but it's light out. That's the big deal right now. It's light out. So there you have it. There's no dark skies right now at this part of our time in our newscast. Yeah, we've had ourselves a cold day, and it's going to be a cold night. There are extreme cold warnings in effect for parts of the province, including Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and the Battlefords. We'll talk about those later on. But yes, cold Arctic air hammering down on top of us, and that is going to be the big deal of the day right up until the middle of next week. So just to recap, it's minus 23 degrees in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and the Battlefords, feeling colder with the wind. Now, the hot spot in the province, Hudson Bay, minus 14 degrees. The cold spot, Buffalo Narrows, at minus 36. Around the province we go. Currently, it is minus 22 degrees in a number of places, including Lloydminster, Swift Current, Regina, and Estevan, minus 21. In Moose Jaw, minus 23. In Yorkton, so a pretty consistent temperature pattern there across the province, and that's true of central Saskatchewan as well. Temperatures are as warm as minus 16 in Hudson Bay, but everyone else pretty much in that mid to low minus 20s, so it's minus 25 right now in Melfort, minus 26 in Wynyard. Up north, well, temperatures don't drop off all that much. Minus 25 in Collins Bay. It does warm up to minus 20 in Sandy Bay, Island Falls. It's minus 22 right now in La Ronge. And down south, cold temperatures in southern Saskatchewan as well. Temperatures as warm as minus 18 in East End, but as cold as minus 25, and that is in Indian Head. Now we'll take a look and see what's going on with our future cast. With the computer modeling indicating that you can see those pressure lines not really close together, so yes, not much in the way of wind tomorrow, but we do have a little bit of flurry activity that's sort of sneaking into southwestern Saskatchewan. It will likely ring itself out very quickly. So here's the area in purple. It is an extreme cold warning right now, and it does include the Battleford, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, as well as areas up to Meadow Lake and then down towards the Kindersley-Rosetown area. So yes, there is some cold air out there, and just because you're not under a warning doesn't mean it isn't cold. Minus 17 for La Ronge tomorrow, minus 21 for Stony Rapids, minus 19 for Buffalo Narrows, minus 18 for Key Lake. In west central Saskatchewan, a mix of sky conditions, but temperatures generally around minus 16 or minus 17 degrees, minus 17 as well in Outlook. Otherwise, we're looking at temperatures, at least for these communities, in and around that minus 13 degree mark. Mainly cloudy skies for southeastern Saskatchewan, with temperatures in the mid to high minus teens, and in east central Saskatchewan getting to the low minus 20s for a number of communities, minus 15 for Hudson Bay. Again, cloudy or mainly cloudy skies. The Battleford's dropping down to minus 31 tonight. Frostbite in minutes to exposed skin, and that lingers into tomorrow, minus 19 for a daytime high. On Saturday, minus 18, ditto that for Sunday, minus 14 on Monday, but warming up to minus 2 1 week from today. For Prince Albert area, overnight, minus 31. Tomorrow, minus 18, so once again, frostbite in minutes to expose skin. Minus 15 on Saturday, but Sunday backing off again. Minus 14 to start the work week or heading back to school. Chance of some flurries, and then warming up to minus 3 by Thursday. And Saskatoon, an overnight temperature of minus 29 degrees. Clearing skies, frostbite in minutes with these cold temperatures. Minus 20 tomorrow, a similar situation in terms of the danger to your skin. And then a slow warm up to above seasonal temperatures by Thursday this time next week, minus 2.
Saskatoon Summer Players present Building Broadway. This latest SSP cabaret runs from Friday until Sunday at the Refinery.
We're gonna rock this town, rock it inside out.
Hot Rod Hullabaloo will be playing this Friday night at the Basement. The Ram Motorsports Spectacular returns to SaskTel Centre for 3 big shows. 2 shows on Saturday plus a Sunday matinee.
Last thing I want to do is start any trouble. What are you hitting me for? I was cooperating.
Award-winning actor Kim Coates is back home for a special Persephone Theatre fundraiser Saturday at the Ramey Arts Centre.
My mother hates the word common law. She's like, I do not like that you're living in sin. I'm like, well, don't worry, Mom. It gets a little less sinful every year.
Erica Sigurdsson is one of 4 stand-up comics bringing the funny to the Broadway Theatre with the Snowed In Comedy Tour. That's Sunday at 7 o'clock.
Be shred.
Megadeth will be blowing the lid off SaskTel Centre on Tuesday. Also on the bill, Anthrax and Exodus.
From Seoul to Regina, and finally, Vancouver.
Burnt Thicket Theatre presents the autobiographical comedy Suitcase Stories. It's at Studio 914 starting on Wednesday.
Because it's hard luck and circumstances.
Wednesday evening Grammy nominee Charlie Crockett is in concert at TCU Place.
I think this is going to be about gold. That's next. It's the way she wants it.
The Boat is the next offering in the Live 5 Independent Theatre Series. This timely play runs from February 26th to March 8th at the Refinery.
Quick, my girlfriend's coming home. You gotta get out of here. I know we've been married for quite a while, blah, blah, blah.
Saskatoon Soap's Improv Comedy presents Big Improv is Lying to You. It's an evening of unredacted comedy, Friday, February 27th.
All right, Jeff, you have some pictures of the day, and some of them include some crafts.
Yes, indeed, some timely crafts. But let's take a look at this one to start things off. This comes to us from Jody, and Jody says, the not so calm after the storm. The wind is blowing and the temperature is dropping. Taken while shoveling on Wednesday after the snow stop in the RM of Dundurn. But yes, you can see those flags. They're snapping pretty straight there. So I had a lovely sundog there. So thank you, Jody. From Brad and Pam Howe, regular contributors, and this is from the Humboldt area, and the image is entitled Deer Resting, and that is a great close-up of that deer. All right, and finally from Levine writes, this is how 7-year-old Hector Tisley celebrates the Olympics. What a great show. I love the ski jumping.
Yeah,
that is very cool.
Impressive.
Yeah, no, it's very impressive. So, yeah, multiple sports there. So thank you, Levine, and thank you, Hector, for sharing your art with us. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cftqcnews@ctv.ca. And please remember to shoot things on the horizontal, not the vertical, if you're using a cell phone.
So many rules. Still to come on CTV News, a piece of Beatlemania preserved, how the public can take in some of Paul McCartney's memories. For many fans, Beatlemania lives on through the music. But for Paul McCartney, the memories were also captured on film. More than 250 photos he took in 1963 and 1964 will soon go on display at the Art Gallery of Ontario. CTV's Jessica Smith gives us a sneak peek.
A behind-the-scenes look at a band that helped shape a generation.
The photographs are really great pictures unto themselves, and then they tell an important story that no one else really could have told except one of the Beatles.
A new exhibition at the Art Gallery of Ontario titled Paul McCartney Photographs 1963 to 64, Eyes of the Storm, is making its Canadian debut, giving people a never-before-seen look at more than 250 photos taken by Paul McCartney himself.
He spoke of it as
you know, for him it was a way of capturing something that he didn't know how long it would last. I mean, decades later, we know it's long-lasting.
Each picture a candid look at the iconic band's early days on their journey to global stardom.
It's 3 months. It's the end of 1963 into like the beginning of 1964, so it's a very short period, and it's that moment when the Beatles become the Beatles. Like, it's that Beatlemania.
Giving a rare look into the lives of Paul McCartney, John Lennon, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr.
These are like family photographs, and there's the contrast is that there are professional photographers with them, and we do show some of that.
Helping fans that span generations connect in a new way to their favorite band. The Paul McCartney Photographs 1963 to 64 Eyes of the Storm photo exhibition is now open to AGO members. It opens to the public on March 24th and runs all the way through until June 7th. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
When we come back, how some Saskatoon players performed at last night's Prospects game, and later, a favorite way to warm up during winter returns to Saskatoon.
All right, let's welcome you back to the wonderful world of rural forecasts. And you may not think it's so wonderful when we take a look at these numbers, because we've got ourselves cold conditions. But look, there's some sunshine out there, but, you know, with even a little bit of wind, these are nasty conditions. So as you can see, temperatures in the high minus teens, getting into the minus 20s in Watrous and Melfort, minus 15 in Hudson Bay, minus 21 in Wynyard. And then we make our way down south. Does it improve? Well, a little bit, but not by much. Still minus double-digit temperatures along the international border, basically around minus 12 degrees. That's pretty much the case for southwestern Saskatchewan, but colder into as we make our way eastward into the minus 18, minus 19 area. So what about Kalanza? Well, Kalanza is looking at minus 20 degrees. Winds out of the east at 10, so yes, it will feel colder than that, but under mainly sunny skies tomorrow. And Kalanza is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Thanks, Jeff. WHL action was put on pause this week as the Prospects game was held last night in Langley. 3 Saskatoon Blades were in the mix, giving the inaugural event a thrilling finish.
Stretch pass to Rudolph with a little bit of space, moving in, cuts in front and scores! 14 seconds in, and Team East gets the 5-4 overtime win.
Team East captain Daxon Rudolph was the hero just 14 seconds into overtime, winning 5-4 last night. Blades' Zach Olson had a goal, and Cooper Williams had 2 assists, including the Olson goal. Defender Braden Klimke had 1 shot on net. Team West came back with 3 goals in the third period to force overtime. The RCMP Heritage Center is unveiling a new exhibit exploring the red dress movement. And as Mick Favel tells us, it's meant to bring awareness and action for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls.
Over 100 red dresses in a formation similar to the Canadian flag now on display at the RCMP Heritage Center. Each red dress includes a face representing a missing or murdered Indigenous woman or girl. For the 2 artists who led the project, they hope those that view the piece walk away feeling more aware of a major issue impacting Indigenous peoples across the country.
When we bring awareness, we have to also bring action. And when we bring action, we can bring protection. And I feel like the more people are aware of this issue in Canada, the more that people can help.
Tracy George Hayes and Justine Stillborn led the Togetherness project. They received help from a number of Regina students to complete the art piece. The title of Togetherness means a lot of things, particularly among Canadians who share the same history.
Whether it's, positive or negative, whether or not we are honest and truthful about that history, we still share it. And so whatever you call yourself, it doesn't have to be Canadian, but you have to recognize that we still share a history.
The RCMP Heritage Center is a place focused on discovery, exploration, reflection, and reconciliation. These types of projects are a part of a strategic plan the center has in place as they continue their journey of reconciliation.
It's really an honor for us to be able to facilitate and to create these programs to ensure that students are learning. Really at the core of these programs, we are hoping that we can help students see the ways in which we can all create a better future together.
The creators of the exhibit hope those that view the piece see it as a memorial and as a way to move forward.
I feel like the work that we've done with the RCMP is not just educating the public, but it's also educating the RCMP. It's educating the different systems from the inside.
Creating relationships and conversations in a new, meaningful way. Mick Fable, CTV News, Regina.
Exports are down this year, but precious metals may have softened that blow. Here's the latest business report from BNN Bloomberg.
Apart from the pandemic, this was the widest annual shortfall on record. Data shows annual exports last year saw a drop, but a strong run-up in gold prices might have masked the true damage of the trade war. Exports of gold, silver, and platinum jumped nearly 42%. Exports to the U.S., meanwhile, fell almost 6%. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar was up to end the day, sitting at 73.07. West Texas Intermediate climbed to 66.45. Western Canadian Select was also up to $49.64 a barrel. And the TSX hitting another all-time high today, ending the day at 33,594. And those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Turning to local gas prices, the average price in Saskatoon is currently at $1.23 a liter. That's down. And then the lowest price in town is $1.16 a liter. And on the Saskatchewan markets, Cameco finished the day up at $3.59 and Nutrien at $1.96. Coming up, a celebrity cat in London marks a milestone. Then sampling some spectacular soups at an annual event.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Well, a major milestone is being marked in London. Larry the cat is celebrating 15 years as the resident mouse catcher at the home of the British Prime Minister. So Larry is typically seen roaming the streets. You'll see him eventually. I'm sure he'll come up. There he is. Yeah, he's typically seen roaming the street outside, often sitting on the step in front of the big black door. Larry was adopted in 2011 and has served 6 prime ministers. The job of head mouser has a long history with various cats filling the post since the 1920s.
Very interesting. And he has his American cousin, Fritz.
Yeah, there you go.
Fritz the cat.
Fritz the cat, yeah. I like him.
I like him too.
Look, he does his job well.
Yeah, he's doing a fine job. Although I wonder if he drops off, mice off cats often do. It's like, hey, I brought you a gift. It's dead mouse.
Yeah, thanks
Enjoy.
so much. Yeah, probably doesn't get to the PM. There's probably a couple other people to deal with that mouse. People gathered at TCU Place for one of the best ways to warm up on a cold, wintry day.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Our Jeremy Dodge was on hand at the 14th annual Winter Shine Soup Cook-Off. Jeremy was helping out the crew from the Sheraton, sampling soup, of course, as he went. Chef Daffed and his team made this great corn bisque that took home the second runner-up prize from the sold-out crowd of about 400 people who voted. McKenna Ray from Loki scored first place.
I wonder what soup they had at Loki.
Loki makes a great ramen.
Do they?
Oh, at lunchtime they do like a half size, but it's pretty big.
All right, okay, cool.
So there's my free ad for Loki.
All right.
Great.
Well, you know what? Soup is good food.
Good food. We'll work on it.